I know we're only 3 episodes in, but ironically, the best episode of the season so far doesn't even have the Bad Batch in it at all. Yeah, I know. That's not a criticism of the first 2 episodes, just that this episode was a lot more complex. And let me tell you, folks, if you're a fan of the Clone Wars series, and if you're watching this series, you clearly are, because this is essentially a sequel to Clone Wars, you will love this episode, because it feels like classic Clone Wars. Now, the basic gist of the episode is, this planet's been taken over by an insurgency, the governor's been kidnapped, so the Empire sends Crosshair to take down the insurgency, and in addition to Crosshair, he pairs him up with Commander Cody. And turns out there's a lot of battle droids on this planet that haven't been shut down, so from there it's this close quarters battle between the clones and the droids. And there was even this nice little touch where there's 2 battle droids that blow up a tank that the clones are using, and then once the tank blows up, the 2 battle droids ever so subtly high-five each other. It's a pretty quick blink and you'll miss a visual joke, but it's there, and I thought it was a nice touch. I thought it was really funny. And what's interesting is that we know the clones at this point are the bad guys, and yet we're sort of rooting for them in this episode, if only by default, just because they are the battle droids, which brings up a lot of morality and political queries in this episode. The clones think what they're doing is right, even though this planet did not ask for war. The Empire just kind of came in and took over. They want to be neutral. They were neutral during the Clone Wars. And at this point, the government of this planet is somewhat siding with Dooku because of this. Albeit it's after the war, but they're like, maybe Dooku was right because, the Republic became this. They became the Empire. These so-called good guys have now taken over our planet without asking. So that kind of brings up a lot of the morality questions and the gray areas and everything, which was an interesting thing to bring up. And the best character in this episode was definitely Commander Cody. Because a big question people had when Clone Wars first started out was, well, why should we root for the main clone characters like Cody when we know that they're just going to end up switching sides and killing the Jedi because of Order 66? And this episode addresses that. And, it sort of hints that Cody regrets killing Obi-Wan. Because Obi-Wan was his friend for years, probably his best friend, in fact. And yeah, Obi-Wan is still alive, but Cody doesn't know that. He thinks he killed him. And that is a big problem when you're watching Revenge of the Sith. You're like, well, I spent 7 seasons watching Clone Wars and loving Commander Cody, and I was just going to turn around and kill Obi-Wan. So this kind of fixes that issue somewhat. This fixes that problem with Revenge of the Sith, where this character you've come to love in Clone Wars is now suddenly a bad guy. So they're giving him a little bit of regret for what he did. That was nice. So, yeah, I really thought this episode was really interesting. It was kind of a throwback to Clone Wars. I really enjoyed them doing that. I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see maybe where they take Cody's story, because as far as I know, he's not in Rebels. So maybe he's in some other stuff. Maybe does he turn back to a good guy later? Or are they going to fix that plot hole? What are they going to do with Crosshair? Because Crosshair is interesting, because Crosshair is definitely a villain of the show, but he's a villain simply because he knows, or he thinks what he's doing is right. He thinks that the Empire are the good guys and that good soldiers are following orders, which is sort of this recurring theme throughout the show. I kind of want Crosshair to get a redemption arc. So we'll see where they take this. I'm very excited to see where they take these characters. I'm very excited to see what happens next in the next few episodes over these next few weeks. What did you guys thought of this Bad Batch episode? I thought it was fantastic. Let me know what you all thought.